Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Partnerships for Profit. I'm your host, Ana Del Rio, and this week we're joined by Ellen Sullivan, Esquire, founding attorney of Cambridge Immigration Law and a leading voice in client-centered immigration advocacy. She shares the human stories behind immigration work, the realities of building a mission-driven law firm, and the global experience that shaped her approach. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today, Ellen. How are you doing?
Thank you, Ana. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Lovely, lovely. So let's jump right in. Go ahead and tell everybody about, yourself. Take a couple minutes and tell us how you got into law, all that fun stuff.
Sure. Oh, there's my dog. I'm Ellen Sullivan. I'm at home right now in my home office. That was a closet that's going to be renovated soon. So
Love it.
We have an old mural here. I am the owner of Cambridge Immigration Law, a law firm in Cambridge, Mass. We're a team of about 15 people. I've been a lawyer for about 20 years, probably to the week. I think it was like December 5th, 2005 that I became a lawyer. And all that time,
anniversary.
All that time I've been practicing immigration law, different settings. Right now, like I said, I do my own law firm. We do a lot of marriage-based green card citizenship, but really any type of immigration I can talk to you about. I love immigration law, and I love the work I do. I love my team, and of course, love my clients.
How did you get into immigration law?
I stumbled into it through the co-op program at Northeastern University Law School. Mm-hmm. So Northeastern, unlike other law schools, has 4 opportunities for law students to do internships during law school. And I had no clue what I was doing when I went into law school. I didn't even know the words like defendant and plaintiff. I had no idea what I was doing. And so I ended up in internships that were immigration focused. And I was interested in sort of, the experience of people from different places in our country, but I didn't really understand immigration law or really the concept of that until I was in law school. So doing internships at a legal services provider, at a private law firm, and also the U.S. Attorney's Office. I did get exposure there to immigration law.
Very cool. So what's a moment in your career when you realized immigration law wasn't just like legal work? It's human, life-changing human work, really.
Well, it's always been like that. I mean, there isn't any time that it wasn't. I mean, I remember my first substantive case when I was in law school, and I was at Greater Boston Legal Services doing an asylum case for a family from Liberia, and learning how to do an asylum case, learning how much I had to learn about my clients' lives in order to be able to tell their story and put it in the framework of the legal requirements. And these people had like most asylum seekers, a pretty traumatic history and pretty amazing journey getting to the United States. And they were seeking safety here. And by telling their story, I was giving them with the other people, not just me, but we were giving them the opportunity to live a future that was going to be safer and hopefully freer, with more hope than they had. So yeah, that's what immigration law is mostly about.
That's awesome. So you've represented people from countless backgrounds. So what's that one story? Because I know you started to kind of give a little bit of detail, but what is that really truly one story that completely shifted how you see your role as an attorney?
Well, I mean, really, it's every single case. I mean, like I said, that first one all the way until this morning when I was in court. I mean, my role as an attorney is telling people's story. Well, backing up, my role is to listen to people, talk to them, ask them the right questions to figure out if their story can fit into the boxes of immigration law. And that might not have been something I realized I was really good at doing until, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. But I'm really good at getting people's stories from them. in a professional way. I'm not like super chatty, I think, personally. But I know how to get people to open up in a way that's important for getting the government to understand who they are. And I acknowledge to people, like, you don't want to talk to me about this. You might not understand why I'm asking these questions, but, let me give you a little understanding why I need this information. And people do open up to me. And what was your question? What was that moment? I mean, that was a moment, I think, when I realized like how good I was at that. That was a moment when I realized as an attorney how valuable the tool is of questioning, listening, and then telling a client story.
Do you have a client story that you could share with us? One that, that you'll never forget? That whole journey of transformation, that whole journey of getting them, what they needed, getting it done. What do you remember?
Well, I could tell you stories from, like, really, I kid you not, every week there's a new story. I mean, I could tell you about this morning if you want. I met a woman last week through a colleague who couldn't handle an interview that was coming up today, a hearing that was pretty short notice. And this woman has been living in exile really for about 16 years from her country. Wow. And she had gone to other countries where she wasn't safe there. And she had fled her country because she had been in opposition. She'd been opposed to the leaders, more the leading style of the government. And she'd expressed that. She tried to get in a very grassroots way, get her neighbors to reject what was going on in their communities. And she was raped because really the gangs knew that she was trying to put in place, or, a new way of thinking about their reality. Do we need to live like this? Do we need to live in fear? And so after that, she fled. And I met her last week, and nobody had asked her, I think, the right questions about what her story was. Like, nobody figured out how to ask, was this like a political opinion that you had? So that, and one of the reasons I asked that is because that fits her into the framework of asylum. And so once I asked her these questions, I could see the light going off in her head that said, wow, yeah, it was like, that's what I was doing. So not only was she happy that we were working together and I was finding a in for her with asylum, it gave her this sense of, wow, like what I was doing was bigger than I thought it was. It was bigger than me. And, what I went through was horrible, and that's never going to go away, but there was a bigger purpose to it. It was about, she unfortunately didn't succeed, but she was doing things for other people. That made her realize, like, just today, this woman, I think when we were in the hearing, she did such a great job. She realized, like, wow, I'm a political activist. And that's a really amazing thing. Like, you can be a political activist on a one-on-one level. And this woman who, like I said, has been in exile, has been living with a lot of trauma that resulted from what she experienced. Like, I think today she grew a little bit, and that was kind of an amazing moment for me to realize, wow, like, I just, by seeing you, I let you see who you are in a way that you hadn't seen.
Well, that's beautiful. Like, immigration journeys are deeply emotional. We know that, like, especially with today's climate.
Yeah.
But what is a surprising challenge that clients face that most people never even realize?
There's so many challenges. I would say one thing that I see are parents who come here with children. And if they're, especially with asylum, I do a lot of other things besides asylum, but say their case takes a long time for whatever reason. The challenge of having children here who are growing up here, who may reach an age where they want to be doing things that their peers are doing, like getting a license, getting a job, getting a federal, loan. And these kids may not have known all their lives that they weren't going to be able to do certain things. Or they may have known, but just coming to that point of like, wow, I can't do things that other kids are doing. And I'm a mom, and it must be heartbreaking. I can't imagine knowing that my kids just can't have everything everyone else is having, no matter how smart and dedicated and committed they are, these parents and the kids. So that's a challenge, is not realizing that you get here for the safety of your children, but then until you actually get that, wonderful but stupid piece of paper, you can't actually give everything that you tried to give to your children.
Yeah, you don't even really think of that.
Yeah.
You really don't.
Yeah. And then there's the other side of it, the challenge of children learning, maybe always, or, some tragic wake up moment that their parents, these might be US citizens, for instance, kids, or just kids who didn't know they weren't citizens, but learning their parents aren't safe here, which is what we're seeing now. It's heartbreaking.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I can't even really talk on that much. I mean, it could get really emotional. I mean, what does the process look like for them? I mean, I'm familiar what it looks like, outside of the US and having to do that. And I was scared myself living in a foreign country, having to deal with the visa stuff. So I only,
you went through this?
I'm sorry?
You went through all this?
Not like that, not here.
Okay.
Like outside of, I'm a US citizen, but outside of the US in a different country, and having to do all that paperwork was very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
What does it look like here in the US?
Well, I mean, there's so many different ways somebody can get status. There's lots of ways people can lose status. There's lots of different, not statuses. So there's just so many different ways it can go. And for some clients, I work at Cambridge. We're near Harvard and MIT. Lots of our clients meet in grad school, and one person's U.S. citizen, the other one's not. And they have a pretty straightforward path. They should have representation and do it right. But the person who's not a citizen doesn't have a moment when they're not in status, all the way to, like I talked to you about, this woman who's been here for a long time and having nothing. Sometimes it can feel like, oh, well, of course this is going to work out. But even if I'm telling people, of course it's going to work out, some people in that category where there should be no problem as long as they do what I say, some of those people are stressed day and night about the reality of the reality that if it doesn't go their way, which it will if they do what I say, like what that means. And then you have people on the total other side of the spectrum who maybe come to me and I say, there's nothing I can do. And they say, is it safe for me to go out and leave my house? And I am telling people things now in the Trump administration that I would never, ever have thought. Like, I would have laughed at anyone who told me things that I say to people now, which is like, yeah, maybe it is safer for you to stay at home. People, I'm not encouraging anyone to quit their jobs or not go to their medical appointments. But when people ask me something like that, I can't tell them that they're safe on our streets. And that's pretty scary. But on the good side, things are going well. So a lot of this stuff that you're seeing in the news relates to ICE, and that is the deportation arm of the immigration agency in the United States. That's generally when people are in a defensive mode, they're getting caught. There's also a proactive way to go about immigration for some people, not everyone. There's no get in line for everyone. Some people, there's nothing we can do. But for the people that can get benefits, we go to an agency called USCIS, and they give benefits if you're eligible. And that agency has been great. It's going super fast. I work in Boston mainly in the Boston office. The office is well run. The officers are positive. They're like making the right decisions. So there's really so many different realities for people based on their history, based on how they approach their cases. Do they get a good lawyer? Do they present the case right? And a lot of it just has to do with luck. Like, are they get a good officer that day? Do they live in a city that has a good immigration office? The city can affect. Oh, yeah. Cities, yeah. So Massachusetts has 2 offices, Lawrence and Boston. And there's some differences. They're not that big, but Massachusetts USCIS offices compared to Florida are very different. Compared to Louisiana are very different. So yeah, regional differences are huge because a lot of it depends which officer happens to pluck out your case. Wow, luck of the draw, really. Complete luck of the draw. Wow. So running your own law firm since 2014, what's a lesson you learned the hard way that every lawyer/founder should hear? The lesson I learned the hard way is to not be a solo. Like I should have got help sooner. I started getting some coaching about 4 years ago, and that was the greatest thing for me. Spending money to learn is like we spend all this money for college degree, for a law degree, and then we become these lawyers, and many solo lawyers are just like won't spend a penny on anything. And it's like we just invested all this money. We have to continue to invest in learning. And so not investing in how to run a law firm sooner. I mean, that's my one thing, because when you're running a good law firm, you're obviously doing good legal work, but you're also having good business sense. Like I was doing excellent legal work also, but like my law office was not run well, efficient, profitable. And that I should have been learning the second I graduated from law school, or at least I opened a law firm.
Oh, wow. Okay. So when you're in law school, you guys don't take a class where, how to run your own law firm and like that. There's no.
No, I mean, at least I didn't. I don't know if there was this class I missed. It wasn't a requirement. And I don't know how much of that is offered in the law schools. I really don't.
Interesting.
But there's countless, coaches that can help people, and they don't have to be super expensive. A few $100s a month, all the way to really tens of thousands of dollars a month. And, depending on your income, those, it might be an appropriate choice to spend $20,000 for the different coaches you need.
Of course. Well, tell everybody how they can find you, where they can find you and get your services and get your help.
Yeah, so I am, like I said, the owner of Cambridge Immigration Law. We have a website, cambridgeimmigrationlaw.com, or you can call our office, 617-714-4375. You would start by calling our office or emailing, and we'll reach out to you to set up a meeting with our intake team to get some background info. And then the real intro to the legal work would be in a consultation. We charge for consultations, and a client would meet with an attorney who would help the client figure out if they can reach the goals that they're looking for in their life. Nobody cares about the legal solutions. They care about the life solutions. So we really want to help them with their life solutions. And a lot of times we can't, but when we can, we're really excited. And we're always trying to be creative, and we are creative and diligent in figuring out, what can be done for people that maybe other attorneys hadn't seen.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ellen, for being on the show. And thank you, everybody, for watching. If you like what you saw or heard, go ahead and like, share, subscribe. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. And thanks again, Ellen.
Thanks, Anna. It was so nice seeing you and chatting.
It was great. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.